running two at the moment, one I can't talk about. But there's one there where a woman from North Yorkshire rang me. Her husband is having an affair and he made himself bankrupt, so she can't get her hands on any money. And she asked me to mount surveillance on him with a view to confirming that this woman is the mistress. And I've been out on a couple of occasions. I've done surveillance on him. I've followed him from his place of his home to his place of work, but I haven't spotted the mistress. I am in possession of the mistress's description of the mistress's car, but I've never seen that yet. But it's early days. We've only had 2 goes at it. It could take a couple of weeks before the mistress pops up, or alternatively, she may not be a mistress at all, and the wife is mistaken. But all I can report upon is that if I don't see the mistress, all I can say is that I haven't seen the mistress. I'm not saying she doesn't exist or the woman's not right, but all I can do, I give her my information, good, bad or indifferent.
I was hired by a dentist who was going to take his wife away for Easter to Brighton, but he was a bit worried in case his female dental nurse was going to be unfaithful to him whilst he took his wife away. So my job was to watch the girl to see what happened, if anything happened. Anyway, I picked out the girl and she answered the door from a photograph, and you can imagine my horror when about 4:30 a mini draws up. It's got a suitcase strapped to the roof. The young man goes bowling down the path, knocks on the door, the nurse opens the door, they hug and kiss, and he goes in. I think, oh my God, he's going to take her away tonight. I haven't even got a car. Panic, panic, panic. Anyway, would you believe in my luck? And in my game, being a private investigator, luck does play a big part. Right, imagine my luck when a black cab comes up the road. So I hail him down and I said, have you got a couple of hours or so? He said, what do you mean, mate? I said, well, you see that little mini over there? I want you to follow that. He said, Governor, I've been a cabbie for 15 years and I always wanted somebody to say, follow that car. And we would go to a caravan site. I phone my client. He says, right, I'll be straight down. So I hang around and eventually, probably about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, he arrives. And he's carrying this, can you visualise the bag that if you're a cricketer, you put your stumps and your bat in?
Yeah.
He had one of these. I thought, wonder what he's got that. He said, right, which caravan? Anyway, pointed out, knocked on the door, goes in, a lot of shouting, and suddenly there's a shot. I go in, and I come out immediately, and I'm physically sick. He shot the brains, and in the bag was a shotgun. He shot the brains out of the young lady. I performed the only citizen's arrest that I ever have performed. Took him down, the police came up, we all went down to the police station, took statements. Anyway, I came back the next morning, and I thought to myself, do I really want a job like this?
Probably the biggest case I did was a murder case, a murder that happened in Thornaby, and I was instructed, there was no doubt about it, the 2 guys were guilty, the police had done their work. I was instructed by the defence to try and limit the sentence that these 2 both got, and so from the call, the file was about half a mile thick. It took me 3 weeks to read through it to get all the different characters out, and then from there, in a police statement, for example, they will mention other people's names, but they will never put the address in there in the statements. We get these statements, they're called unused statements. The statements that are no good to the Crown Prosecution Service because they don't help their case, so they push them to one side and then the solicitors get them and pass them on to us. And so from there we had lots of tracing to do. We had to trace lots of young lads who knew the murder victim, and we had to trace them and interview them. And that was, I suppose in a way it was straightforward in many ways, but it was interesting at the time because there was so many varied aspects to the case. It was to do with footprints. Did the footprint match one of these guys who allegedly murdered this young man?
Yes, I was serving what we call a Saturday demand on a man in a village on the outskirts of Stockton. And luckily my partner, was my son and partner, came with me that day, and we weren't anticipating any trouble at all. It's a sleepy little village. I was injured, I had to go to hospital, but nothing serious. But I did not make a complaint. But the next door neighbour accused me of causing a disturbance in the village, which rather annoyed me. I served the statutory demand on the man, who immediately took a swing at me with a baseball bat. I ducked that, and I got stuck into him. So then his wife came running out, jumped on my back, and then the son came running out, and also he jumped on my back. So my partner then stepped in, and a few blows were delivered, and the son ran off crying. So he was brave when there was only one, but he wasn't so brave when he was fighting two.
If you had to promote the job in 30 seconds or under, how would you do it? What would you say?
Promote this job? Don't do it. Stick to a 9-to-5 job. Don't do it. Would be my answer. I think the worst aspect of it is the hours. Not being able to get a holiday. That's for me. That's probably the worst aspect of it. The work makes no difference to me. I do a varied kind of workload, and I just take it as it comes. So I think the hours and it puts limitations on what you can do in your private life.
Working on your own, working long hours, no backup, and your clients expect more than sometimes you can provide. I think the loneliness is the worst aspect of it.